Hello, 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 everyone. And whoa, that was loud on my phone. Hello there. I hope you guys are doing fabulous. I believe it's Tuesday. I believe it is a Tuesday. It's a Mondayest of Tuesdays. Anywho, today we're going to be pressing some blanks from the Mom Cave & Co. Customs. Now, back on the Sass on Sunday, we talked about some wedding favors and all that jazz of the things that you guys can do for weddings. Well, what we're going to press today is a candle holder. And not only did Cheyenne come up with one of them, I came up with another one that she'll also be selling as well. So let's get started with some things you need to know. For this project, you're going to need your transfer paper. I have my heat press. Let's get that back up to where it needs to be. I was pressing shirts today. So let's get it up to 385 for 85. And we're going to do 60 seconds. I'm sorry, 65 seconds. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So for this, you're going to get, for Cheyenne's, you're going to get 2 pieces with of wood. These will end up being glued together. And then you're going to get a piece of MDF. This will be glued together. You'll get to see it all come together in a little bit. Then for the one that I created that Cheyenne will also be selling is you'll get the bottom, the middle, the top, plus you're going to get this and this. We're going to glue it all together. So we have cleaned, I have cleaned these all up, but we're going to pull the film off of this first because with all MDF, there is a protective film over the top of it. So I'm using my 3D Puff Pro tool because it's really the only tool you should use when gouging at your MDF here. Okay, there we go. So we have that ready. And we're also going to do the other 2 pieces that are a part of this puzzle. Now, when you're pressing MDF, anything that's larger than 6 inches, you're going to want to pre-press it. This one isn't quite 6 inches, but the next one is. So what we're just going to do, we're just going to pre-press it. We're just going to give it a quick pre-press because it does sit in a variety of different shops. Moisture can happen inside with your MDF, no matter what it is. Now, when you get MDF, we do try to clean them up the best of our ability, but guess what? It's laser. It leaves the gooks behind. So we do try to wipe them down the best we can, but you always want to make sure that you wipe down your MDF yourself as well. You know why? Because it happens. So how do you go about doing that? Great question. Glad you asked. So I like to get a wipe. Now, I wipe mine down with a regular cloth, but what you can do with a wipe is just give it a quick once over around the edge just to make sure. And as you can see, there's still a little bit of the schmutz left, right? There we go. Nothing too crazy. Let's not, reinvent the wheel here. And it happens. I don't care who you are. It can happen even from the big manufacturers. You can still get some of the black schmutz all over yourself. So there is that. All right. So what I would like to do is make sure everything is wiped off. All right. Do you have to lint roll it? No, you don't lint roll your MDF, but we are going to give it a nice pre-press. And the reason is because I do want to check my pressure too. Great time to check your pressure. So I feel like that's going to be good. I'm going to give it a good 10 to 15 second pre-press. Now, do you have to press it longer than that? It really just depends on your environment that you're in. If you live in an area, let's say down by the bayou, which is moisture content is very high in Louisiana. So if you want to, you can. Now we're going to let that cool for just a second because guess what? It's hot. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to get my print ready. And I'm not going to show you the print. I want you to see it after. It means a lot to me. Yes, cleaning of the MDF. So let me just trim this down. So these can be used as wedding favors, bridal shower gifts, baby shower gifts. They can be used as memorials. They really can be used for whatever you choose. It's going to be up to you. What we are going to be using in this tutorial, though, for our candles are our tin. We use the tin ones. Cheyenne did have the ones that had the really pretty fancy plastic ones, but we're just using the fancy tin ones because that's what we use around here. And there's this one, which I believe is about 1.25 inches. And then we have this one, which is about 2 1/4. So you definitely can see the different sizes in the tea lights. Again, I'm just using the tin ones because, well, that's least inexpensive. Okay, so now that we have that all sorted out, we are going to get my image on here. I do know that I would like to do a minor tweak on the file after I cut it. There's only a couple little minor tweaks I want to make, but that's okay. I want you guys to see it. And if you love it, we're going to make sure Cheyenne gets it. Okay, so I'm going to tape this down. Now, for this particular one, as you guys can see in your image here, I have the wording up here because I got to avoid this hole, right? Because that's where the candle goes. So I'm going to get this down to where I'm going to need it. Now, I also tell you guys, don't include the hole in your bleed space. If you do, you want to give it a generous bleed. And the reason being is if you do it exactly the same size as the hole and you are off ever so slightly, you're going to have that dreaded white line and all the things that we don't want. So that's why you tend to see us fill in the hole for this. So you just make sure that you line it up accordingly, center it. Now this does have a generous bleed on this one. And I might even back down that bleed just a little bit for you guys. This is just me tweaking the files, but this is the process we go through. When we're making files for you guys, I go in and then make what they call a bleed space for a file. And on that bleed space, we have to make sure that if you are pressing this at 2 in the morning, that you do what you need to do. Now, I totally did that backwards. Well, fiddlesticks. I forgot to move up the hole. Hold that thought. Hold the thought. Because I want it to be perfect. Because I'm that kind of bougie. Hold that thought, please. Because doesn't everybody just run their laser while they're doing lives? Let the computer warm up. I want this thing right here to be on the bottom half. And I realized that after that, we're just going to fix it right now. We'll fix it because that's what we do. And it's the Mondayest of Tuesdays. It's definitely the Mondayest of Tuesdays. All right. The Mondayest of Tuesdays right here. We're going to do some laser cutting right now in this thing as soon as I get this where it needs to be. We're going to flip this over. And you can't cry about these mistakes. How do I fix that? Well, I get to cut myself a new one so that, again, it was just something that I did after the fact. I could sit here and cry about it, but no, we're going to make it work for us. We're going to cut me a new one, and then we don't have to worry about it. All right, let me get this on the laser. There we go. Give me 1 second. Move it over. Come on. And I know not everybody has a laser, but trust me, I would make sure that this file was perfect for you guys first. And did I mention Kevin's home if you guys couldn't hear it? All right. In case you guys couldn't hear, my husband is home and the dogs are telling me all about it. Okay. Mondayest of Tuesdays for sure. Absolutely. So in the meantime, while that is cutting this other piece that I have to do, because I really want it to come out perfect, we've already checked the pressure on this. So when you're checking your time, temp, and pressure for MDF, what you really want to do is make sure you have firm pressure. You don't want to have light pressure on MDF. You really can kind of just squish the heck out of it, really. There's no reason you can't. Let me just check my thing. Looking good, looking good. Okay, in the meantime, while this is doing that, because I won't need this for too long, Let's see, can you guys see that? Perfect. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start to glue this together. All right. And this is in the wrong spot. I just need you to know this. We're going to work through the process because, you know, I don't feel like recutting everything. So just humor me. If we were to put this together, it's going to sit like this. And I'll show you what I did is I moved this hole up here so I could put wording right here. So on my MDF one that you're going to see that's going to be correct, the candle will sit down further. But again, we're just working through the process here as I'm not even looking at the right camera. I'm sorry about that. So let's get our glue. All right. Exactly. Okay. We're going to let that sit there. And we're going to start to glue this together. Now, you can use your E6000. You can use anything, really. You can use any glue that you want to use. What I'm going to suggest is you kind of go like, and then go like this. Get it to where it's on the back side of this. Okay. This is something you want to glue together. You can clamp it. For the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to let it sit there. Okay. Now remember, this candle will sit up higher. I was doing this as a last second thought. This was literally, as I was sitting here printing, I was like, oh, I could make that. And this is where those last minute thoughts, because I have a brainchild idea and I want to do something, right? Because doesn't everybody just do that? No, just me? Okay, fine. So that sounds like it's cut. We're going to get this where it needs to go. Again, don't mind the misaligned hole. We'll fix that. We're going to fix that in the file. But at least you'll get the visual. This is what happens when Nikki does last minute thoughts. Okay? And for those who are like, oh, I wouldn't have gone live and done that. That's what makes me different. Okay. So there is that. What I'm going to want to do is probably clamp this down a little bit. Oh, there's not enough glue. That's why. Let's do it. Let's get the glue. Get that glue, girl. Get the glue. I've been fighting with this glue, and I refuse to just throw it away because there's something's in the nozzle and I can't see it. And I refuse to throw it away, so I keep fighting with it. And I keep trying to clean out the nozzle. Okay. Perfect. We're going to set that there. Leave her alone. Ah, now she's where she's supposed to be. Perfect. Okay. Let me just get make sure everything is all smoothed down because I didn't get a chance to clean the laser today. I'm going to take it. And this is what we do. I mean, we will sit here and wipe these all down the best that we can. It's not going to be perfect. And that's it. I mean, you got to remember when you guys are buying blanks, we're literally wiping all of it down. You can use a wipey on it. Absolutely. Wipe off the gunk off my hands here. Let's use my 3D Puff Pro tool. Let that sit way over there. I will clamp that down in a second. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now you see that. Now it works. Look at that, Mom. No hands. Okay. So again, file's going to be slightly tweaked. If this is something you want more of, we'll definitely do that. But I think once you see it come all together, you're going to go, oh, that's where she went with this. Okay. We're using that. Now, I'm going to move it over here because this sucker's still hot. Woo! Boy. Okay. We're just going to, it's paper on both sides, so don't like freak out here. Okay. Let's drop that down. All right. Now, for memorials, they can be used for anything really. It can be used for something as simple as just something to have at home. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be for a wedding or a bridal shower or anything like that. For this particular one, it definitely is. Let me get my glue. There it is. Gonna glue this all the way around. Now what I'm doing is I'm gluing a frame. If you can't see what I'm doing, I'm sitting here gluing a frame. You can see it in the little one all the way around this. Okay. So I have my frame. I'm going to lay it down on my picture. And we're going to give it some seconds here. Going to give it some lovin's. Okay. Now you could go in and you can definitely, you can go in and you can clamp this however you want to do this. It's going to be completely up to you. You just want to make sure that when you're holding it, that you don't get any glue anywhere, because that's a real thing. Don't put a lot of glue on there. You don't want to do that either. And I can see where I have a little bit of glue. That's all right. Okay. All right, so now we have that. Now I'm going to take this piece of MDF that's here. We're going to protect my perfect investment. That would be my fingertips of sorts. So, ow. So here we go. We're going to take this and we're going to line it up. Remember what I said, this isn't going to line up. And the only reason is because I had moved the circle, but you're at least going to get the idea of the way this is supposed to look. It will sink down further. Please keep that in mind. But this is just to show you an idea, something I came up with, that it was a conversation that I had with my daughter. So, are you ready? I absolutely love it because it's a picture of the most important woman besides my mother in my life. So this will be adjusted. This is the prototype of it that I wanted you guys to see. It is absolutely stunning. It has, I liked the large candle with this. You can get a bigger one if you want. The circle just has to be slightly modified, but when you look at it, this is going to be a great, and it says great grandmother of the bride. So that they can have this. She can then take it and bring it home with her, and she can have it be wherever she wants to have it at the end of the day. But this is meant to sit back. I didn't want it to sit this way. I just have to tweak the file just ever so slightly, but I got to make the piece smaller. It will sit kind of at an angle, and I want it to sit that way so that it has that look to it. I absolutely love how that looks. And if you guys know, that woman is absolutely my heart. And that be my most favorite picture in the entire world. So now what you can do is I'm going to put some more glue on the one that Cheyenne came up with. Okay, we're going to get the glue all in there. Again, you're going to want these to set overnight. You can use super glue. And then you have this little guy. And this little guy fits those. So you can make little tiny ones just like this that hold those little tin votive candles, right? You can make them say whatever you want. They make great favors. We opted for the 3 layers so that it sits down a little bit more, and then it can't just be knocked over really. But this is a really cute wedding favor idea, bridal shower gift idea. Really, you can use it for anything that you want, but absolutely adorable, right? So we have that one. And then again, you have this guy right here. His file needs to just be slightly tweaked. Once we slightly tweak it, I'm thinking we love it. So let me get to the big camera. Yes, that's what I'm doing, my love. All right, let's move it closer. Okay. So this is the one with grandma's picture on it. Okay. So this is what it looks like. So you get the MDF board, you'll get the frame, And then you'll get the base pieces that will hold the 2 1/4 inch votive candle. I liked the chunkier, bigger one versus the little one. I felt like the little one you just kind of lost, but I liked the bigger version. Order. This is what it looks like when you have like a memorial. You could put like a plaque on this, if you will, and that's what that looks like. Hopefully you guys can see a really good picture of it. And then you can light a candle for them. There's that one. And then there's this one right here. Okay. This guy is great for wedding favors. It's small. It's only about 2 3/4 inches in a square. I mean, they're really not that big, and you don't want them to be big, but you can have them say whatever the bride wants it to say. You can have it designed. We went with the peach look. Why did we go with the peach look? Because peach is the color of the year. And so we added a little bit of floral element to it, just to kind of bougie it up a little bit. This is a great way where you can add into a bride's theme, whether it's a rustic theme, it has certain florals, maybe it's a beachy vibe, right? This is a great thing to have as favors. Another twist on this is if they go around, they can go and light all these candles at all the place settings before the guests sit down. And then it just another, again, ambiance. You can use the battery operated ones in these. And the reason for the battery operated ones, again, fire hazard for those people. So you absolutely can use the battery operated ones. Just double check the sizing of the ones that you're purchasing. And we'll let you know what size this one is. Actually, I can do that right now. I can tell you what size that one is. And hold one second. I think I have one. Let me go look for mine, and I'll tell you if I have one. No, I do not. Okay, so I thought I had a battery operated one, but I do not have a battery operated one available. So you could use a battery operated one. I'll let you know what the size is on that. So these are, according to All Things That Are Beautiful, are measuring at 1.45 on those. So absolutely adorable. I love the little memorials. I love that it's this little tiny thing. Very simple, very cute, right? And then, again, this was the on the fly, the seat of my pants conversation after having a conversation with my daughter. And this, how beautiful is that, right? So you really want the 3 layers so that this can sit down in. Once I get this base, and what I have to tweak is that little leg right there, so that it sits correctly inside this. And that's what we want. We want it to sit so that it sits nice in here for you. And that's what we're doing right now. But that's okay. That's what happens. You don't want to necessarily glue it in. You want it kind of at an angle. You can glue it in, but I'm not sure that you're going to want to straighten it up. The angle for me is what sold it. And when I was making this thing, because again, it sits at that angle. It's not your typical upright one. And if for some reason you decide, hey, I want to take this down, whatever it may be, the nice part is you could just pull this out and now it stores flat. And that's what we want to, because people like to change out their decor. This would be very cumbersome to have to store somewhere. Whereas if we don't glue it in, they can literally just stack this all together and it makes it easy for grab, go, move around, whatever it may be. So there you go. These are going to be the 2 things that are going to be listed at the Mom Cave & Co. Customs. You can use them for just about anything you want to use them for. Really, it's completely up to you at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether it's a memorial for a bride's table or just a memorial in general, or it's wedding favors. It doesn't matter. These are just some cute ideas how to use those tea light candles, those battery operated candles, and add a little bit of something different for those wedding favors. That's it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully at noon, right here, Sassy Nation. And until next time, I'll see you guys real soon on the flip side.